for your geographical area, Google will recommend a budget, and then they kind of give you a guesstimate of how many leads that you should be getting. Now, the important thing is to understand this. The budgets are weekly budgets. Okay, so it's based upon the week, and it's a cost per lead platform. So it's not cost per click, it's cost per lead. Mm-hmm. And there's two different bidding modes that we use for our clients. One is maximize leads, which is what Google recommends. It allows them to control the number of leads based upon the budget. And then there's also a like basically a cost per lead model where you set, this is what we're willing to spend per lead. And then I like to maximize per leads because initially you get a boost from Google in order for them to get that how responsive you are score.
Gotcha.
So they kind of put you at the very top, and then you get flooded with a bunch of leads, and then boom, you kind of get almost cut off, and it's very frustrating because if you get robocalls or if you get something goofy and you don't answer them, boom, you immediately get a bad score. But
gotcha. So that's an important thing to mention.
Most personal injury firms spend a ton of money on advertising and still have clunky websites that no one can find. Apricot Law builds beautiful custom websites for personal injury firms around the country, then ranks those websites at the top of the various sections of Google: Google Organic, Google Maps, Google Screened, and Google AdWords. This way, the right people find your firm and your website actually converts those people into leads, calls, and cases. This means that your website will be out there working for you, delivering leads and cases so you have more time to focus on what you do best. The first step is to find out what's holding your site back, the 1 to 3 big errors that, if corrected, would lead to more traffic and leads. To claim a free website analysis video, scan the QR code with your phone's camera, or go directly to the web address shown below. One of Apricot's marketing strategists will use special tools to analyze your website so you can see what Google sees that might be hidden in the code and secretly hurting you. You'll also learn what your competition is doing to get cases so you can steal their best ideas. This is not a computer-generated analysis. You will get a custom analysis of your website recorded on video to watch at your leisure. No pressure and no strings attached. Claim your free website analysis video today.
Yeah, right out of the gate, you get a bunch. So for example, like Bert answered every single one of his calls, did everything right. And then I want to make a bunch of adjustments. And so we made a bunch of adjustments, but since he was already an already existing one, we changed a bunch of different things. And that's one of the big things too, is the algorithm is very finicky, in my opinion, of how they rank you. It's almost like Facebook. When you go in and start making a bunch of changes, it's almost resets itself, but you're not getting that initial boost. So it's almost vitally important when you go out of the gate is have almost everything set the way in which you want it. So for example, like GM, another example, boom, immediately went out of the gate. They actually signed 2 PI cases out of the gate, loved it. Boom, I want to scale this. We increased the budget. We adjusted some geos. Crickets.
Wow. Okay.
And so I contact Google, and Google's like, oh, well, you should shrink the geo. You should shrink it to this. And look, what about budget? So we adjust everything, and Google has yet to really give us anything for it.
I think a question that our clients are going to have is, how hard is it to get your money back if you get a call that isn't a case? Let's say someone has been injured, but the attorney talks to them and does a little due diligence and realizes that for whatever reason, there's no case.
Zero.
If there's a legitimate call, but for some reason they don't take the case, because it's not a great case, or there's not enough money in it for them, or it's not worth it for them, they're not getting their money back for that lead.
Nope.
Okay.
But if
So
somebody,
if it's an injury and you got the call, doesn't matter if it's cracked or not.
yeah, if it's a car accident,
What if
and
it's like an information seeker? Like somebody's
Yep.
like, well, my son got injured, 3 years ago, and I need to see if he
Yep.
has a case. Well, obviously he doesn't. So
yep,
if it's
not
a
get-
legitimate call where someone's just asking a question, you're paying for that lead.
yep. So you get in. So somebody may call. It might just be property damage, or like you said, they're just kicking tires. Hey, I'm reviewing, interviewing lawyers for a possible case. That's it. But if
Okay.
it's spam, or if it's somebody calls in and it's a criminal, let's say it's a criminal case, like, hey, I was, driving while intoxicated and I hit somebody. That's criminal and not somebody looking for PI.
Gotcha.
That's more
So
than-
there are ways to do it, but it has to be kind
Yeah,
of.
but we can't write an explanation of why we're disputing it. It is collect the radio button on why, hit submit, and you're at the mercy of Google.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's
we
still
are
better than AdWords, where you're only paying for the calls, and they're a lot cheaper than paying for a bunch of clicks where none of them are good.
Have we
yeah.
gotten money back from have our clients gotten money back for bad calls?
I think LH got one because it was a criminal, and I think CSA got one back because it was. I'd have to look at it again, but it was like outside of. It was like for Spokane, and it was like over by Seattle or something like that.
So
So
outside
it's
the area,
people at Google listening to all these phone calls and making this decision.
I think they listen to them if you complain, probably, right?
Well, so here's the other caveat to this. When you start putting multiple disputes in and you're aggressive with your disputes, magically accounts who are doing relatively well. So for example, one of the CSA accounts in Idaho was doing okay, disputed a bunch of things, and magically we stopped getting leads. So
This is not a home run.
no, it's beta. It's still a working beta in my opinion.
So yeah, so
we have to sell it.
Yep.
But it's not a home run. So we're kind of in a tough spot here.
it's
So
almost
these-
it's almost to me like, you're going to get what you get and be happy with it. Like if Google, if you sign up and it takes you a little while to sign up and you get a couple cases that, and whatever you get, you just kind of take it.
We just have to be upfront with everybody.
Which is fine. I mean, look, you sign up and it takes a little effort to sign up, and somebody gets a couple of cases and makes 30 grand. And, sometimes they'll hit a home run and get a huge case, but sometimes they'll get nothing, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
It's
We just
very-
have to be clear that it's not up to us. It's not like, hey, these guys were great for 2 months and all of a sudden I stopped getting cases in my LSAs. Apricot sucks.
Right.
We have to make sure that we're really clear.
Yeah.
In-house process what this is all about.
That makes it, Greg, sorry. Are you dealing with any of that
yes.
now? Like where they
Every single day, every day, people are like pissed.
They're
Like
blaming us.
Bart is like, dude, we were signing cases. We were getting cost, we were like, so the reporting that I have is it's daily reporting. Leads come in. I put it up. They can put notes in. They can classify if it's actually a case. So then we have cost per lead and we have cost per case. So Bart was getting a $700 cost per case, and then we tried to kind of scale it, made some adjustments. Boom, all leads got basically shut off.
So what's the bottom line with this? Is it worth it?
Yes,
for us to,
it's
worth it for us to do this because everybody wants it. But is it worth it for the client to do this? And what should their expectations be?
Very low.
Okay.
So it depends on if they're a big fish. But if it's the way you can explain it is Google. It's a live beta. Google hasn't got all the kinks out of it yet. But what supposedly it's supposed to do is level the playing field for, you, Pathfinder, and Morgan. So you will be spending the exact same type for a lead, the same that Morgan will be spending for a lead. And you guys will be in the same space type of things, where before with a cost per click, you weren't able to compete with someone who's willing to spend $500 per click and push you around in the leads, the local service ad space. It's supposed to be that. In addition to that, it's supposed to have some type of proximity piece, which we are not seeing, in my opinion, with lawyers. So it is supposed to allow you to compete more easily. Whether or not in the lawyer space that's 100% true, I personally think that the PI cost per lead is going to be pushing $1,000 in the near future. Because right now,
That's good information.
I think but the nice thing is it's like AdWords. You don't have to run it, but what it is when you do pop in and you do get a lead. But if you see it's a garbage lead, and so you're getting 5 crappy leads each month, and each lead costs you $300, and you're spending $1,500. You can just turn it off like anything else. You're not getting the consistency.
So there's really no downside, but the expectations do have to be set properly, because it's not a grand slam home run. It's not like this is the greatest thing ever. Google's giving out leads for $200 each, and we could get as many as we want. That last part is the problem, because if they might send you a few just to hook you in, and that's fine, but that has to be your expectation. You can't say, oh, once they do it, we'll just blow it out the water and get as many as we want. That's not going to happen.